How did this all come about? The property, like let's rewind a little bit and just kind of go back to the history of everything that we're seeing here on this great corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. You've been rewinding all the way to the beginning. I actually co-founded the little building company with my partner, David Conroy, and we were working out of his shop, like out of his garage, and he's in Douro-Dummer. And a neighbor came by and just like politely kind of complained that we were, running a construction company out of his property. And so he actually went into the township office just to ask what were the rules so that he could follow them. And in that conversation, he discovered that they had this property that they wanted to sell and for a business just like us to come. So we ended up buying this property and building the shop here, and very quickly saw the opportunity of this location. And my wife and I decided that a frozen yogurt company just seemed like they're a great fit. And I'll let AJ kind of explain how we chose frozen yogurt. But so we've had that for several years now. We've had lots of families and kids coming out and playing lawn games, and we had all this land that we weren't using, and we wanted to do more, make this a destination. And so we kind of thought about different options, and mini golf was right at the top of the list. And then when Milltown closed, we knew that there's a big loss for the community, and a nice new mini golf course would be the right fit.
And here we are a few years later, and frozen yogurt, a unique snack, but a tasty one that brings a lot of people out. So yeah, how did you land on that?
Well, we used to work in that office over there, and I would sit in the top floor doing the bookkeeping for the construction company, and we would see long lineups at what used to be the butter tart factory. And I said, we should open some sort of shop. And ice cream was obviously one of the first ideas that was presented, but you can get Kawartha dairy ice cream on pretty much every corner in this county. So I said, there used to be a frozen yogurt shop that I went to as a kid, and it had that old machine and you put the yogurt in it. And so I just had this nostalgic moment and started to look into those machines, and they're made in Montreal, so it wasn't too hard to order one. And that's kind of how the idea was born. But then you realize that if you are in the Kawarthas selling frozen treats, you do also have to sell Kawartha dairy ice cream. So we added that a couple years later. And then it's just evolved into some really loyal customers, lots of local families that love to come out multiple times a week. And so this felt like a really natural fit and next step.
I'm mini golf obsessed, and I know I'm not the only one. And you mentioned Myrtle Beach when you were talking, and that was one of my first thoughts when I watched the progression of this on all your social media videos. I thought, this is not something you see in Canada. This is something you see in the States, in Myrtle Beach, just the over-exaggerated holes and all the meaning behind the holes and everything. So you didn't just build a mini golf course, you built a kind of a tourist attraction here.
Yes, yeah, we did. And we played lots of courses trying to find what are the things we really liked, what doesn't work. And we took pictures of our favorite holes along the way in all different places and kind of put it all together here. And yeah, the rest is history.
When you were putting it all together, what were some of the spots that you thought, we have to have this landmark, we have to have this in there, and it was a no-brainer to put it in?
Yeah, I mean, a few things. We definitely wanted to touch on our local area here, and so we added a few holes that are shaped like different lakes in the area. We also have our little wagon that has full of dynamite, because this was a location of a huge dynamite explosion in the late 1800s. And then this hole right behind us actually has a river running through it. And one of the ways you can play this hole, this is a secret, so I'm going to let it out here, is to put the ball in the river, and the river will carry the ball and spit it out back right towards the hole, possibly for a hole in one. So that was one of our key holes that we just had to build.
There we go. So we've got the first secret. We'll see if we can perfect the track as we go along here. But lift lock was another one, and that's a staple when you think of this area. You think of the lift lock, and it was designed in such a nice way where you're kind of shooting right through the middle.
Yeah, that's all Sean. Sean is very creative, and he's obviously a builder as well. So, I feel like a lot of these holes, he's made a lot more work than maybe they needed to be, but it just makes it the kind of place that you want to come back and play again, as opposed to, a cookie cutter mini golf course. That would have been the easy way to do it, but Sean doesn't like to do things the easy way. So we're really happy with how it turned out. Also, a lot of the holes were designed to be played more than one way, just to keep it interesting and keep people coming back and trying different things on each of the holes.
And it's important to get something that you can do as a family, but also if you're a senior couple or if you're an individual, like I'm just going to walk out here and play by myself a few times. But being parents, seeing your kids out here having fun, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, we were talking about it the other day that it's a pretty cool thing to be able to say that your parents run a mini golf course. It sounds like a pretty fun job. So we know the kids are super excited. Our youngest son we were all out here kind of working on the course on the holiday Monday, and our youngest son played the course about 7 times and just kept joining groups. And I think he's going to be quite good in a few more rounds. So I myself actually have not played the course yet, so I'll have to get out and practice while he's away with his grandmother so I can keep up with him.
Something to look forward to. And last thing I'll ask you, you're still working on things. There's a lot going on. So what else do you have to do here to complete this course?
Well, we still have a few holes left to finish up, and that'll be happening in the next few days. But there's always going to be little things that, I've got windmill blades that need to go on our windmill here. A few things with the lift lock. I want to add some boats. I want to add the actual kind of bathtubs, if you will, that go up and down. All sorts of things. And the problem is I'm a dreamer. So it doesn't stop, I think. They're just going to keep coming.
Work will never stop, but hopefully we can get out on the track and have some fun here. And I thank you both for taking the time with me today. I know there's a lot going on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that a lot.